Hello, welcome back. So we're continuing with application tips, and in this video, we're going to be tackling the tactics that we use when we're answering questions in the application. Let's dig in. My name is Gillian. Remember to subscribe and share this video with someone else who might also want to really apply, so you help them to save some time, but also give them the tips that they need to really go through. Okay, all right. So let's dig in. When answering the questions, we have 5 tips for us today. 1, first make a draft. It's okay if you have really strong internet, go ahead and answer directly. But from experience, if you don't want to do the application 5 times in a sitting, try to copy the questions and transfer them to a Word document and work offline for a start. Work the draft, but also give you the ability, if anything happens, you're out of battery or the internet is off, you still have your answers because you keep saving them. Then when it comes to questions, we have a visitor again at the end of this video. You're going to one of the Mandela Washington Fellow alumnus is also going to explain more about tip number 2, breaking down the question. So I'm not going to spend more time on that. Very, very key. So please wait for the video at the end for him to explain that at the end. Let me go to number 3, word count. There's a reason as why they've given you a number of words, a limit of words not to go above. Now, here is the tip. If by the end of your draft or writing, answering a question, your word count is way below than the limit, just know it's not good enough. There's a reason why they usually, from experience, it's even difficult to bring down the words to 250 because I don't know, if you really have content to share, the advantages, if you have more words than the word count, the advantages, now you have the opportunity to really cut out the crap and leave the most important points that will bring out what you're trying to say. If you have lesser words than the word count, it's normally because you're either leaving out something or it's still not yet good enough. That's what I learned from the word count trick. Also, as you break down, as you cut off some words, one tip that helped me with, I speak or write a lot. So one thing that really helped me with that is try to avoid some repetitive words. If you find you fail to kind of narrow down to the words that you need, look through again and find out what repetitive words have I used? What repetitive sentences have I put at the beginning, middle, end? Are there some words, unnecessary words like like, and, because? If those things are really not necessary, cut them out so that you're straight to the point. That's the point of that. Also, as you do that, you figure out that actually you're summarizing your entire life's work in just a small document. So if you've achieved a lot, that's a huge task for you to do. So you're going to need lots of time. Put aside enough time to be able to think through your answers and to actually give a good summary of what you're trying to put across. Avoid last minute application, trust me. Talking from experience as well. Avoid last minute applications. Set aside an hour or 2 per day and work on at least one question and keep like that. And lastly, the 5th tip is, as you summarize, make it easy for someone to read. How do you do that? Use a title and space. So if you're sharing about your achievements, first give us a brief summary of what all your achievements are about. Then we'll know, okay, this is what the reader will know, this is what this section is going to be about. Then under that brief summary, give us titles, subtitles, explaining a little bit further of what that summary is all about. For example, if they're asking you your long-term goals, you're going to say your inspiration in 1 or 2 sentences, and then break down that inspiration into 3 points. Try to not go beyond 3 points for most of the things. So you have 3 titles and and something that follows that. Okay. All right. So let's sorry about the dog. So let's now watch. Let's pause and then watch the fellow telling us about the breaking down bits. Okay. All right.
Thing as you go through that application is to break down the question into various parts, because when you see the question as one, it feels like it's very simple, but it's a loaded question. It has so many parts. I don't know which example I can give, but when they ask about something to do about tell us about the issue that you're working on, or the issue that you're passionate about. This question has parts. First of all, what is the issue in itself? Then what is the motivation behind that issue? What motivates you about that issue? Then what is it about that issue that you want to change? And then what does that change look like? So it's just a simple question, but it's loaded. So that's the most important thing that you should look out for, breaking down the questions. The other thing is the word count. As you fill in, I know words can come and then you have so many words. It's okay. So at the start, you could have your full essay, and then as you review it, as the time moves on, like as you review every day, you keep on reducing it word by word until you get to the most important part of it. Finally, the other thing I think is around the X factor. Whenever you're reading this application or going through the application, ask yourself, what is the X factor that you bring on the table? Like, what is it that makes you stand out? If you were in a room of 10 or 20 or 30 people, because everyone is more or less going to be doing the same thing. So what is that one thing that will make you stand out? It could be that you're all doing the same idea, but probably for you, your story, your personal story, is what is the X factor for you. What inspired you to get to that, and that this needs to clearly come out in the application. So think about the X factor as you're applying. It could be your personal story, it could be in the work that you're doing, it could be how you do your work, or it could be the networks that you have, or it could even be the people that you're supporting. They could be the ones that are having that X factor. So that's it.
All right. So that's pretty much what it is. I hope, I wish you the best.